this to the right. Now watch this turn. Indicator left, down the slope. What a shot. What a shot. Is it? Oh, would you believe that? Rory McIlroy. What a round of golf. It's one outside the Augusta course record.
Anticipated. Oh man, what a shot! I'd say that's pretty good. Whoa!
Hello and welcome to the Putting for Dough show, the only golf DFS show which recommends Alejandro Tosti to make the cut last week, and he came in 10th. As you can see tonight, it's just me and Jack. Nick is working, so look forward to him being back next week.
We know
Sorry?
We know his game.
We know his game. We know. Despite us threatening to abuse him relentlessly, he still didn't turn up. But I think we have free reign tonight, Jack.
Yeah, I think we do. I think we'll stick it to him, Mark, and yeah, I'm sure he'll join me on the show next week, and with his smug look and where he's beaten us in the podcast league, the podcast host league. But speaking of the podcast host league,
do we have to?
Well, we do. That is my fourth win in 5 weeks in the podcast host league. I am tearing you boys up. Nick's got a little sandwich in the middle there. I actually believe he didn't show up for that one either. So true to form there, Nick. And I've gone on a little run here, a little stretch, and what's happened, Mark? I beat you 6 for 6 last week with a 5 or 6.
I know. That's what makes it even more galling. At the halfway mark, I was like, "Well, this is easy."
Yeah.
And then, but as you saw last week's Mexico Open, the bookies and the chalk donkeys were successful with their Finau Rams 1 and 2. As we discussed last week on here, I was never going to play them. And that's what cost me in that league. But I'm still happy I didn't play them. Just it is the style they're playing and stuff. And the ownership was, not as high as expected, but that was ridiculously high. And one thing I think we missed a trick on possibly last week is I didn't even know if it was possible. Don't think we didn't try to make a lineup with both of them in it last week.
No, we didn't. To be honest, I did on the. As I've mentioned before, I never really finally settle on stuff right, not till about an hour before lock, really. And I did try and sneak one in with both of them, but I mean, it was putting me in like the bottom of the 6K range, and I was not comfortable with it either. So I was just like, no, I can't come down here. So I played Rahm in cash, and I played Tony Finau in my GPP lineup. So it worked out all right in the end for me. Despite me saying on the show that I don't really play Tony Finau, I don't. But that's the way I went in the end. I'm a firm believer that your mind should never be fully set until sort of an hour before lock. Personally, that's just the way I like to play. But I think it's the best way to play. I think you should try and get as much information as you can before you settle on things. But yeah, that's the way I went. Good week for me. Good bit of profit, and then I also hit the Tony Finau outright on the betting front as well. I've done well with the betting front this year. I'm pretty sure I've nailed one at least once every month this year. I had Matt Wallace at Corrales, Max Homer earlier in the year. There's a couple of John Rahm ones, but I mean, nothing major. I'm not going to shout like at the rooftops for the Finau one. It was 8-1, but we take it. It's profit, and we keep going.
Indeed. I had an overall decent week. Had a lot of 6-6s through, but I didn't have Rahm and Finau, so that basically meant they were being cashing across the board stuff. But it was decent. Definitely a good double up week again. We had the newsletter was on fire last week. We actually came up with a couple of 6K players on the show last week who made the cut as well. The aforementioned Toasty. Nick didn't get burnt by Toasty last week.
Loved his life because I played him as well.
Yeah, and old and I think we'll be doing that gag every week. He does well, and friend of the show Trevor Werbelow, he made it as well. So a couple of good 6K picks last week. So yeah, the form continues really on all the content we're producing.
Yeah, we got some nice feedback from Danny on Twitter. He commented, said he doesn't really play a lot of golf, and I think he's in some sort of season league, and he's just literally using the picks that we make in the newsletter, and he's been smashing it. He's top of the board. So that's good. It's great to see. The newsletter's there. It's free. It'll be out tomorrow again. Mark's Cut Makers, my core only went 2 of 3 last week. Martin Trainer let me down, which was a bit annoying because when I went to bed, he was 4 under. So he must have had a major collapse down the stretch there, missing the cut. But, again, we still, I still had John Rahm in my core. So if you'd played John Rahm, you'd played, I can't remember who the other, Nate Lashley, that was it. In there, if you'd played both of them and used Mark's Cut Makers, you should have been quite profitable again. So it's there to be used. Use it right, and as I say, we've been printing money with that all season, and
it doesn't. You imagine we'd have a bit of a dip, but it hasn't really happened yet, which is fantastic. I think that I know personally last year it started off very well, but by sort of first 2 months, absolutely amazing. And then it sort of dipped off a lot, but this year hasn't really. I think our processes are just becoming more and more refined every week, and I think we're starting to see that. I know we've both made gains in the season longs on Fan Team as well, which has been good.
Yep.
So yeah, that's all good. Whilst we're talking about things that we produce and things you can get involved with, our listener league is open again for this week. For this week's Wells Fargo, as well as winning the money in that, you also get the winner gets a place in our Champion of Champions tournament, which is at the Open, isn't it?
It will be, yeah.
Yeah, it will be at the Open and stuff. So check that out. All those details of everything we're talking about, you can find at PFD Show. It's usually the pinned tweet, which Jack summarizes everything so nicely in.
Yeah, I just literally clump everything together in one tweet. It's lovely. So get on that. Like Mark says, that's the pinned tweet. The Fan Team season-long tracker dropped a major big update on that today. Loads more commitments and things like that. Still available for £3.99 if you're doing quite well in the season-long game and you want to push on and continue. I've gone up over 600 places since the Corrales. So I'm just pushing on each and every week now, and I think it's invaluable. And by the time we get down the stretch, I think a lot of the people in our tracker group are going to potentially have enough transfers saved that they can literally play 3 wild cards down the stretch on the last 3 events. Which I think, again, if you can do that, that'd be great because you can just pick the best golfers for that golf course.
And it's actually been with the update. There's so much green on my team now, as it were, going forwards, and just as well because we've gone from this week, which might be the hardest tournament left on the schedule, scoring wise, to next week being the easiest or the highest scoring. So really crucial that you got the right sorts of golfers, or at least you're going to get your 6 out of 6s out anyway for next week for definite. So that's been invaluable. Any money I win on that will be basically owed to Jack, but I won't be paying him it.
You can buy me some beers.
Yeah. And also your double ups, you're raising money for MPS Society for the UK FFC this year with your double up. $10 a week, $10 DraftKings double up week, and I think you've won every week, haven't you, so far since you started that?
All but one, which was at the RBC Heritage, where I didn't cash, and I had a 5 or 6 there. I just didn't have Fitzpatrick or Spieth in the cash lineup, so it just didn't cash, which was a shame. But we've all but 1 week so far, and we're up to 80 quid for that. So
80 quid already. It's just the beginning of May. The event is in just 2 months' time, just over 2 months, isn't it?
I think we've got nine golf events between them then and now. So there's still a lot to play for.
Yeah, which is great. So I think we've covered all the admin for tonight. I think, and we can finally start talking about the Wells Fargo.
Just before we do, we haven't covered it all. Don't forget the PGA Championship. We have Mr. Kurt Jones.
You literally said that to me, Jack, a minute before we went on air. Mention this, Mark. Mention this, Mark. Nick, you need to come back.
We got Kurt Jones coming on from Run Pure Sports for the PGA Championship. I can't wait for that. I think his advice is going to be invaluable. Great to learn off. Like if you're new to golf DFS, just check it out. It's going to be a great show. I can't wait. Hopefully Nick turns up. No, he will. And Danny has messaged us there.
Yeah. Sorry, I put it on you to go.
We're both clicking it.
Yeah, we keep doing it. There you go. It's on. There you go. Thanks again, guys. I'm in a season-long PGA comp, and the last 3 weeks I picked my 6 golfers, 2 from each of your lists. Each of the 3 weeks, all 6 have made the cut. I'm right up there in our comp.
Great to see.
Our pleasure, Danny.
We love to see that.
Yeah, we do love to see that. I'm giving Nick all his grief, but I won't be here next week. But I promise I'm going to be back for that PGA because I wouldn't miss that one. I'm very excited about
that. I might not be here next week because I hate the Byron Nelson. That is the one I have my models saved, and that Byron Nelson, literally a warning on it saying, Jack, go very, very, very light on DFS. I know I hate that tournament, so
okay.
But that's next week.
That's next week. Let's look at this one, which I think I'm going to predict is the sort of tournament you like because it's relatively low scoring. It's quite hard, Jack, which is usually the sort of tournaments you like.
Indeed, I do not like birdie fests. I like tough golf courses. I want to see these guys absolutely struggle and be in tears coming down the stretch. That's what I like to see. That's proper golf. I like proper golf courses, and this is a big boys proper golf course, Quail Hollow in Charlotte, North Carolina. Shout out to Mr. Ric Flair there. If you're a wrestling fan, that's where Ric Flair is from. Woo!
And Woo is playing.
It is a par 71. It's 7,554 yards long. There's water in play on 7 holes around here. It's Bermuda throughout on the fairways, the rough and the greens. The greens have also got that polar overseed. We've seen that quite a lot down the stretch here. A lot of these sort of Carolina, Florida golf courses have it. API, Bay Hill, RBC Heritage, etc. all have that sort of polar overseed. It was designed by George Cobb in 1961, and then it's had many redesigns since from Mr. Tom Fazio, starting in 2007, then up to 2013, 2014, and again in 2017 when the PGA Championship was held here. So many redesigns by Mr. Fazio. A couple of the holes are moved. Generally, his redesign has involved adding length as the game's evolved over the years. This golf course, as I said, is a tough golf course. It features many tree-lined fairways, which I love to see. I want you to be accurate off the tee. I want you to get in trouble if you're going to go wayward. This is there's a reason why Jordan Spieth tilts me every week. I want people, if you're going to go wayward off the tee, to find trouble, and they will here. The last 3 holes here are known as the Green Mile. They are some of the hardest holes on the PGA Tour. If you're looking for your guys to make a birdie down that stretch to make the cut, come Friday night, I'd be very worried because they are very, very hard golf holes. Greens here, bullets. They are so fast. They're hard, very hard to control the ball on. Loads of bunkers in front of the greens, etc. As I said, there's the best sort of comp course for this would be Torrey Pines over there in California. So yeah, as I say, it's a big boys golf course. It's a proper setup here. Hosted many major championships. It also held the President's Cup last year. We didn't play the Wells Fargo at this golf course last year. So if you're looking at Wells Fargo stuff, that was at TPC Potomac last year. We've come back to its natural place at Quail Hollow this year. Yeah, can't wait. I'd say proper big boys golf course, and I'm looking forward to it.
The interesting thing about the course, if you're looking at course history, you can't look at last year. They didn't play it in 2020.
Yeah,
was it? And 2017, it wasn't played here either. So, actual fact, if you look in the last few years, you've only got 21, 19, and 18, haven't you, to look at?
Yep.
Just something for people to bear in mind if you're looking at previous course history. So, Jack, with it being one of your courses, I'm wondering if it's one of your monster models that you've got going this week.
Fairly big. So strokes gained off the tee on long golf courses. Driving distance is, sort of, if you can bomb it around here, you're going to stand a good chance. Strokes gained approach, as usual, we always look at strokes gained approach. The proximity buckets of 175 to 200 and the proximity bucket of 200. As I say, it's a big boys golf course. A lot of them second shots into the green are going to be long golf shots with long irons, 4 or 5 irons. Strokes gained around the green, strokes gained putting on Bermuda grass. I've got the strokes gained putting inside 10 feet. That is actually quite a key stat looking over the previous years here at this golf course. Strokes gained total on long golf courses, strokes gained total on difficult, hard golf courses. And then I've got my comp courses of Quail Hollow, Torrey Pines, Bay Hill, and Memorial Park. That's my model this week.
You haven't left much for me. Pretty much everything else they covered. The only one thing I've been doing, I did it last week and it worked quite well, is I just slightly adjusted my form model. I use form a little bit more than a lot of people do, and I've slightly adjusted it for this week, hoping it has replicated the same success as last week. So we might as well start looking through some players. Before we do, just want to make a quick shout out, especially for people in the UK and stuff. Keep an eye out on the DraftKings UK account at the moment. It's become a lot more active. There was some free golf in there last weekend. There's an in the Ashes League. I would, if you're not signed up for that, contact DK UK about that. I don't think there's anything in there at the moment, but I presume these things will return at some point.
Yep.
So yeah,
you were very close to a football takedown on there, wasn't you, the other day?
I was robbed basically. I had also I know the guy who's in third as well, and he didn't get anything, and he was spitting feathers. So yeah. So let's start. We've actually got 4 people in the four golfers in the 10Ks, which hasn't happened for a few weeks. Rory, unsurprisingly, most expensive. Xander next, then Patrick Cantley, and last week's winner, Tony Finau. Who tickles your fancy here, Jack?
Is it me, or does this week feel a bit like a bit weird? There was no Scotty Scheffler, obviously, and there's no John Rahm here, who are just, I think they're just automatics every time they're in the field, to be fair. The last time I played Rory was at the Masters, and he burned me. I played him in cash, and he absolutely burned me. I still got the double up challenge done, but I think I'll probably go back just because of his course history around here. 5th last year, 1st in 2021, 8th in 2019, and then 16th in 2018. He's the number 1 player in my model. I presume he's going to be the number 1 player in your model, Mark.
No, we're different. No, we're different this week.
We are different. So
Yeah, so you can feel comfortable and relaxed and quite confident in the fact that Rory's number one.
I'm never confident in Rory McIlroy.
Yeah. Well, you are for 3 rounds. You just don't know which is the dodgy round, do you?
Yeah, I just need that dodgy round to come after he's made the cut this time.
Yeah.
Preferably. I think I'm probably just going to play him in cash again and then sit it and forget it, so to speak. I mean, he's going to come in. At the minute he's coming in the highest owned in this range that we're
That
talking
did surprise me a bit, to be honest.
Yeah, I think obviously he skipped Heritage, didn't he? Lost himself 3 million in the process. He has been bad this year as well. He missed the cut of the players.
Yeah,
missed the cut. I think I'm just going to play him in cash, and the feeling for me is with the course history around this place, and that's kind of it. And then I think I'm going to play Xander, who's someone I don't often play, but I think I'm going to go to him in GPPs. So Xander ranks 6th in my model this week. All of these guys are well up there. Just these guys that we're talking about right now, they're well up there. Has decent enough course history here. 14th in 2021, the last time he appeared here. I think he literally made the cut in 2018, made the cut in 2018, but literally finished dead last in the field. But obviously, he's a much better golfer now. He's coming into this more healthier than he has been all year. So he was 4th at the Zurich in that pairs event, 4th at the Heritage, which is nice to see. I wouldn't class Heritage as a comp course to this, but Heritage does have a lot of similar traits with the tree line fairways and things like that. So he clearly likes that sort of golf. 10th at the Masters, 5th at the match play, and then he was 19th at the Players as well. So Xander seems to be getting healthier, and he's currently coming in as the lowest owned in the range that we're talking about here. I'm quite happy to go and play him in GPPs. I think if I'm going to get a discount on the ownership, and again, it's good. All 4 of these guys are literally green across the board. The only place that Xander's losing a little bit, and I mean a little bit, over the last 32 rounds is off the tee. It's nothing major, but hits it far. I don't see what's not to like there with him, with Xander, really. I think if we're going to get the ownership discount, he's going to be my GPP lock up there.
Be interesting. I was surprised about the ownership here. I thought actually Cantlay would end up being the highest owned.
He's fairly high, isn't he? Still.
Yeah, but he's only what? There's 3. He's the 4th highest owned. Because he's a bit of a statistical monster when you start really diving into it. He's like, and also his last 8, he's 7 top 20s in his last 8, and 4 of those are top 5s, which is mad. Absolutely.
Did you see the news today?
Yeah, he's got the new caddy as well.
Yeah.
Well,
Tiger Woods is
caddy. Yeah. He does know him. He's not a completely new caddy to him, though, is he? He's been a stand-in before for him. So yeah, and he's got the stats I'm using, which are the weighted off 32s. He's like number 1 in 3 of them.
Yeah,
like, it's just so. For me, he's my kind of cash game lock, I think. Be interested to see about Tony Finau. He seems like the sort of player who would be grounded enough that the win last week isn't going to affect him massively. But we shall see.
Yeah, I don't mind Finau. Finau's got good history at Torrey Pines, which I'm using as a comp course. I don't mind Finau. To be honest, I don't mind. I think all 4 of these guys are great players. I like Cantlay as well. Cantlay ranks number 2 in my model this week. Yeah. I just purely for an ownership side, I'm going to pivot to Xander. But then again, this is Tuesday evening. We're doing this. As I mentioned earlier, I never make my mind up fully. Literally an hour before lock. That's when I go in and I'm like, yeah, I'm set. But I like all 4 of the guys at the top there. I think this week might be the week that I skip Tony again, though. The thing with Finau for me, I find that he performs better in fields that he's expected to do well in. If you get what I mean?
Yeah. I think this week more than any week, the pricing sort of reflects my model as accurately. You said about there's no bad player. All my top ranking players are pretty much in the top sort of, 8.5 and above.
Yeah.
And I think this is usually you find with your models that if you compare it to the pricings, they're not that similar, and you kind of wonder where they're getting their pricing from. But this week, it's pretty parallel. A few exceptions, obviously. But yeah, Cadley's number 1 in my model. Finau's number 2, actually. Rory and Xander don't do that well in mine. They're both in double digits, but there you go. Let's talk about the 9K range. Again, not many golfers in there this week. Then, okay, we've got Morikawa, then your favourite Jordan Spieth, Max Homa, Matt Fitzpatrick, Victor Hovland, the plodder Sung Jae, who may come into his own on a course like this, and Jason Day. Yeah, are you going to play Spieth this week?
Probably not. There's no course history here, is there? That's the big worry with Spieth. And like I say, this is. I know I'm not including accuracy in my model, but then there's not being accurate, and then there's absolutely spraying off the tee and being on like the hole next to you, so to speak. I just can't play him on a golf course like this. This is a big boys golf course, as I mentioned before. He has got a bit of length, Spieth, now. He's like improved his swing a little bit to get more length. And all signs probably point to him getting a win soon, like second, fourth, third at the Valspar. Like he looks like he's going to be close to a win. I just don't think it's here. He's playing next week at the Byron Nelson. I would probably wait to use him there. I like Max Homa. He's going under the radar again.
Yeah, completely.
The course history here, like he won it last year. All right, I know it was on a different golf course, but he has won it on this golf course. Like he won on this golf course in 2019. Again, green across the board. None of these are bad plays. Max Homa ranks 8th within my model. So yeah, if I'm going to get the ownership discount, which I'm seeing on Homer, and I suspect the ownership discounts because of the 2 missed cuts, but one of those is a miscut at the Zurich Classic. I mean, who cares? That's that pairs event. Who cares about that? The Heritage one, there could have been a bit of burnout there from the Masters. Obviously, he went on that tear up to start the year, and he won at Torrey Pines earlier in the year, which is a comp course for this golf course. So yeah, I'm quite happy. If I want to get that sort of discount on Homer, I'm quite happy to go to him. I love Hovland as well, but the ownership does scare me. I think Hovland might be a cash lock for me. I might lock him in with Rory for cash, but he ranks 4th in my model this week. But my main worry with Hovland is around the greens. He just hemorrhages strokes around the greens. I'm like you this week. I'm using all the weighted stuff as well, Mark. So yeah, that sort of worries me. But 3rd here in 2021, so it's clearly a place that he likes. I think he likes these big boy tracks. Do I think he's going to win? No, but I think he'll make the cut and probably get another top 20 or something like that. 7th at the Masters, which is great to see. He was 59th. That's disappointing, really, the 59th for the Heritage, because he was leading after the first round, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So, that's disappointing to see. But I think Hovland and Homer are my go-tos in this range.
Yeah, I just Victor Hovland I really like. Jason Day is another one who intrigues me here. He's nothing spectacular.
He should have won this tournament last year.
He's pretty good, but nothing spectacular. Nothing spectacular. But
no, he should have won this tournament last year. Yeah. I remember vividly watching this tournament, and it rained like anything on the last day, and he just gave up. He blew up on the last day, basically. I'm pretty sure he had like a 5 or a 6 stroke lead at one point on the last day, but he just blew up. But he should have won it last year. But obviously that's on a different golf course as well.
Yeah, and he's currently predicted to be the lowest owned in this range, which I think is unfair. All his metrics are good. And if you've got 5 of his last 8 are top 10s as well, which is just pretty amazing. So I think if he stays low owned, I'm definitely interested in him. Again, I can make a case to play everybody in this range, part of the this 9K range.
Yeah,
I really can.
Danny's, where does Young rate in your models? Well, we're about to go into that range, I think.
Yeah,
so.
let's just do those now then. Actually, spoiler alert, I think the 8K range is my favourite range, but there you go. So we got starts with Justin Thomas in the 8Ks again. Ricky Fowler, then Cameron Young, Sam Burns, Tyrrell Hatton, Tom Kim, Sahith Theegala, Shane Lowry, Tommy Fleetwood, and Brian Harmon. So yeah, where's Cameron Young in your model?
Cameron Young ranks 12th in my model. I'm going to play him again. I just can't get off Cameron Young for some reason. The 51st at the Heritage, which was disappointing, but obviously 7th at the Masters, 2nd at the match play. But I don't really care about the match play as such. But he was 2nd at this event last year, not this golf course, which was nice to see. Very long driver of the golf ball, ranks 2nd in this field on distance, which is good to see as well. The only place he's sort of losing strokes at the minute is with the putter, which I would worry about a little bit. But I mean, putters can get hot and cold. And the only other thing really that sort of puts me off Cameron Young is the ownership. He's very highly owned. I think he'll probably be a cash play again. I'm just going to have to make my mind up between him, Rory, and Hovland. I'm definitely going to play 2 in cash.
Yeah.
Just don't know what 2 yet. It might be that I need to save, so I might pivot off Hovland and go to Rory and Cameron Young instead. But yeah, I think 2 of them 3 will definitely be cash locks for me. But yeah, do like Cameron Young. I don't think there's nothing not to like. I actually really like Tom Kim. Tom Kim was brilliant around this golf course at the President's Cup. Absolutely brilliant. Clearly a place that he likes. Obviously missed the cut of the Heritage, but he was 7th at the Zurich, and then he was 16th at the Masters. I think he's finding something within his game again. I think the only concern really would be the distance. He's not the biggest of hitters off the tee, but I think he can make up from that in other ways with the rest of his game because he's so highly skilled. But getting a little bit of a discount on him, so I don't mind playing Tom Kim in the range, and then I will play Theegala because I just love Theegala. I think he's a birdie machine, absolute birdie machine, and
great DFS play.
Yeah, he is. DK have finally priced him up to where he should be. Really, bomber off the tee. The only slight concern off the tee is he can get a bit wayward at times, which would worry me a little bit around here. But I mean, the form as of late has been brilliant. Like 23rd at the Zurich Classic, the pairs event, 5th at the Heritage, 9th at the Masters. He's never played this, so we've got no course history here or anything like that for Theegala. But I think he can cope with these conditions and the projected ownership we're getting. I think he's a great GPP play for the birdie upside he offers.
I feel sorry for poor Tom Kim. He's still not got a DraftKings photo. That seems a tad unfair for when you consider some of the others who do. Yeah, I love Theegala here actually. But let's say he's a great DFS play. I feel like playing him every week, especially he's gaining over 2 strokes on the field almost half the time, half the round. So that's great. The other one, who was it? Was it Rim? No, it wasn't him. I kind of like everybody in that, from sort of Ricky Fowler down to probably Tommy Fleetwood. Again, I can make a case. I really could.
I'll give you a question then, because I think Ricky Fowler's more of a cash play. I don't see how you can play him in tournaments because
he's not going to win.
No, and I'd rather play Theegala.
Yeah,
over him because he offers me more birdies and more upside. I believe personally.
I mean, Ricky Fowler's had 7 top 20s in his last 8.
Yeah,
which is big, but he's only had 2 of those have been top 10s or better, only 2. Yeah. So his conversion rate there isn't great. Theegala, when he gets it, you know, he's going top 10s and top 5s when he gets in the top 20. So, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's what's also interesting about this, assuming this projected ownership ends up being correct, is it's very spread out around here. So, you know, I think, was it Shane, Brian Harmer's, but
I'm not playing Brian Harmer.
no, neither am I. He doesn't rank well at all for me. Then it's Shane Lowry, who's then the next lowest owned in this range. So, yeah, it's one of those where I want to play 150 lineups.
I think, I mean, Justin Thomas ranks third in my model. I'll just mention it. I just have, the last time I played him was at the Masters, and yeah, he missed the cut. So, I still feel a little bit hurt by it. Plus, I don't trust him not to do that stupid walk and talk again, which I just
love it.
No, I hate it because every time
he loves it, not you.
But every time my golfers do it, they miss the cut. Like, just concentrate on playing golf. I don't care. I don't want to hear you. I just want to watch you playing golf. I don't care about what you're doing.
I think he's slightly overpriced as well for how he's been playing recently. I think his price still hasn't it the sort of his history, and I think the ownership does as well. If you look, you know, he's almost double, say, a Thigala or Ricky Fowler in projected ownership. That's just ridiculous for the way those three are playing at the moment.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah. So sevens, I'm going to pull a Nick here and not name all the sevens. And then,
you might as well just name every single one of them.
No. I'm going to save myself for all the sixes. Yeah. Okay. So who are we looking at here, Jack? There's a couple of nice options here, to be honest with you.
It's a great range. It's been great for these elevated events anyway. So I work off the model here. Gary Woodland is the best ranked for me at 7,600. He ranks 10th in my model. Absolute bomber off the team. We know that. He ranks third in this field for me in driving distance. It's great to see. Again, the only thing with Gary Woodland, loses a lot of strokes putting and has been losing strokes around the green. He's a boom or bust sort of play, and I know he's been better this year at making cuts, but I still have it in the back of my mind that he can just absolutely blow up and kill your lineup. Doesn't have great course history around here either. Missed the cut in last year, 5th in 2021, and missed the cut twice before that, which is not ideal. It's not really what I want to see. So yeah, but I mean, he ranks the highest. Who ranks second? Keegan Bradley actually ranks 14th. What price is he, Keegan? 7,700. So a little bit more than Gary there, but second last year, Keegan, 18th the year before that. Normally does well on these big boy tracks as well, Keegan. The only place he sort of struggles is with the putter, but we know that can get hot with Keegan as well. Has been making a lot of cuts again this year as well, Mr. Bradley. Seems to be playing better golf. So two guys that I like there. I'll just whiz off a couple of. I mean, it's a great range. There's loads in here that I like. I like Wyndham Clark again. What a fight back from him. He was 4 over par on the first day at Mexico, and he just come back, made the cut. What a fight back that was. So
people were throwing themselves out of windows and stuff because they picked him instead of after the first round and stuff, and then he came back.
That's why exactly. That's why you don't talk about golf until it's done and dusted. I like Corey Connors. You can get it done on big boy tracks. Wyndham, I mentioned Wyndham Clark there. Siwoo Kim, I like Siwoo. Taylor Moore playing very good golf at the minute. Very, very good golf. Lots of top 30s, a win, 4th at the Zurich, 11th at the Heritage. So he's playing really nice golf at the minute. I'd like to see that. Joel Damon's got really good course history here. Hasn't been playing very well this year, but the course history here stands out. I don't mind looking at that. Go a bit further down, KH Lee I quite like again. Just KH Lee is a bit like Thigala in the 7K ranges. He can get really hot with birdies and make loads of birdies. More of a tournament play there, I think. Kitayama, obviously won at the API, which was great to see. But Kitayama, I would say, is a bit of a again, he's probably more of a tournament player. I don't think he can play him in cash.
Look at that! Look at that! 4 cuts and a win.
Yeah, but he's
I mean,
he's a bomb again. Bombs it off the tee, so I don't mind playing him. Benny Ann, I'm a slut for Benny Ann.
Yeah, I knew.
He's just brilliant. Like he has become Mr. Consistent, and he wasn't before. Did you hear about his story in Mexico? Actually,
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
So the air conditioning didn't work in his hotel room. He must have been sweating. So yeah, poor Benny Ann, no air conditioning for him there. I like Ben Martin. I'm definitely going to go back to Ben Martin. He didn't let us down last week.
No, we do love Ben Martin on the show.
JT Poston offers upside as well. It's a stacked range. I've just given you like 10 guys there, just reading names off that I like. So Jaeger Bonds. I love Steven Jaeger as well.
Yes. Well, you know, I like. I really like Taylor Moore and I like Steven Jaeger in this range. You do know that already because you've seen my article for this week. There is so it's just you can't play them all. That's the problem. And like
Grillo got a price bump.
Yeah, I've actually got Chris Kirk quite highly ranked as well, but it's just he doesn't. He ranks overall well, but then when I look at the individual pieces, there's nothing there to hang your hat on, for want of a better phrase. Whereas everybody else who I like has got something they do particularly well. So yeah, there's loads of options here, and because of that, the ownership is pretty well expected to be spread out. Corey Connors, by far predicted, and then Keith Mitchell, then Adam Scott. Someone we've not talked about. Yeah, the interesting thing about Gary Woodland is you talk about him right at the beginning of that section. He's fantastic ball striking stats and absolutely awful on the short game stats.
Yeah,
it's I'm in an R-ing for the old cup makers whether to put him or Taylor Moore in. I went with Taylor Moore in the end.
Yeah, I think you made the right choice.
Yeah, 6Ks. Your man Nate Lashley's in here. Do you like him this week?
No, not really. I'll just give you a couple of the guys that are sort of inside the top 40 of my model. Aaron Rye, quite like him. Luke List is popping in my model for some reason. I'm not playing Luke List.
Nah, just leave that to Nick.
Will Gordon, Lanto Griffin. I played Lanto Griffin last week. He didn't let me down at all. He played really well. So I'm 6'7", happy to go back to him. Michael Thompson at 6'5". He ranks 42nd in my model. Ryan Palmer's popping within my model as well. I don't think I'm going to play Ryan Palmer. I don't think Eric Van Rooyen's popping as well. I don't think I'm going to play him either. Just he scares the hell out of me, Van Rooyen. I just can't play someone like him. Alex Smalley at 6'8", popping within my model. He was quite popular last week, I think. Can't remember what he'd done last week, but he was quite popular.
He missed the cut.
Yeah, there you go. Trey Mullinax. Another guy
from the past.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads here. Like I'm quite MJ Defoe. He was popular last week. Let people down, missed the cut, but before that, he was on a bit of a tear up. Lots of top 30s there from him. Matthew Neesmith, quite like. There's a few down here that I'm quite happy to use. Like I'm not scared off of a lot of these guys like we are normally. Like we would. Last week we would have been well scared of playing guys down here in this 6K range. There's a few.
Still picked some good ones.
We did, but there's definitely a few down there that I think you can use again. So
yeah, I kind of people who rank highly on mine. Oh, by the way, did you see Austin Smotherman was like tearing up round 1 last week?
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, I can't believe I didn't play him. But then he came true to form in the end.
But there's just
5th, yeah.
My favourite, if you want a real cheapie, my favourite at 6'1" is Carson Young.
Yeah, I played some of him on Showdown last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ranks way higher than everybody else around that range for me.
Yeah.
Dylan Wu's actually ranking pretty high for me. He was an alternate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everybody's low ownership's going to be low down here. the aforementioned Toasty. He sticks out a little bit amongst the other people down here. It doesn't mean they're good plays. It just sticks out amongst all the other rankings. Ryan Gerrard as well, a little bit, and like you just said, Carson Young as well. So, yeah, I think we've talked about the 6Ks enough, haven't we?
I think we have. Yeah, I
don't think you could talk about much more than that. Okay,
build a couple
so
teams.
how are we going to start this off? Should we try and undo a mistake we made last week? Can we do something with a couple of high-priced players, or does the money allow us to?
Yeah, let's have a go with it. Which one?
I put the two cheapest ones in of the 10Kers.
So you start Cantlay and Fino in.
Yeah, just to see. That gives us 7-3. So actually, we can change one of them to Rory or Xander. Who would we do? You'd probably get rid of Fee now in that case, just because of ownership.
Get rid of Fee now.
Stick
Xander in.
Yeah, got 7-2 now to spend.
Right, and then let's go down. Should we stick Carson Young in this lineup because we both liked him at 6-1, and then that really gets
that really does help us. Also, there's plenty of options here because you've still got Benny Arm, Ben Martin.
Yep.
We've got all these guys down here. If you put
that gets us back up to 7-5.
We put both of them in. It gets us up to 8-5.
Who did you stick in? Benny Ann and
Ben Martin.
Yeah.
I can't see it. I mean, then you can go up to 8-5, which then gives you basically Hatton or Kim or Thigala, you know?
I'd probably play for Gala and then maybe move off of. I might move off of Ben Martin in that case, and then
got 7-4 then. So you've got
I don't know what
Jaeger's there, Darman's there.
Oh, I'd probably play Grillo and get the birdie upside, but I'm a slut. So
yeah, well, I mean, this is quite
I like the birdie upside of Grillo there, and then you've got. I know it's a little bit boom bust, but I mean, if they all made the cut, Grillo and Fagala, Jesus, the what you call it, the birdie upside that them two could offer you over the weekend is absolutely insane.
You'd end up having a nervous breakdown by the end of it, so watching them two, trying to support those two.
You would, but
that's quite. I mean, that's we've had options there.
Yeah,
we've put Xander and Cantley in together.
Should we build a cash line up quickly?
Yeah, let's do something a bit more.
Do Rory and Cameron Young.
Cam Young.
What's that leave us?
7-5-5.
Let's go back down then.
We're not going to put Grillo in this one.
No. He's definitely not a cash play. Do not play.
Did you put Jaeger in?
Is he quite popular? Jaeger.
He's 5. Pretty grab 5 or 6%.
Really?
Yeah. Adam Scott's the most popular in that sort of area.
I was going to say put Adam Scott in.
Yeah.
It's more of a cash play, isn't it? So that takes up to 7-6.
So you got your Taylor Moore there if you wanted him.
Yeah, stick Taylor Moore in because you've got him on your cut makers. I quite like Taylor Moore myself as well.
Still got to go down a little bit here.
Yeah, you could go down to.
What about Benny Arn again? Because he's so consistent. He has been generally this year. Would you play him in cash though?
I don't think I'd play him in cash. I just want to see sort of popping down in the what you call it range, like near the low sevens ownership wise. Oh, my computer's gone all funny. There we go. Will Gordon's quite popular actually. That's 6-9.
Yeah, he is. Yes. Yep. Strangely. That would give you 8-4 to end up back where you were.
Yeah, I quite like that.
You could, if you're going to play here with based around ownership, though, you'd have to play Corey Connors at this point.
Yeah, but then you could put Connors in, and then you could. What's that? If you moved off of Will Gordon now,
you got 7-4.
So you got 7-4, which would take you back to the Grillo range. We could just play Jaeger, who's popping, like you said.
Yeah.
Quite like that as a cash lineup.
Yep, that's. That's pretty decent. I think just want to do one more from my own curiosity where we're not playing anyone in the tens.
Yep.
Where would we start? Should we start with Victor?
Yeah, start with Victor. We both like Victor.
Yeah.
And then maybe chuck in a couple of these 8K guys if you want.
Yeah.
Should we stick Vigala in this one?
Yeah,
as well?
definitely.
Vigala and
Where's the Gala gone? He's up here, sorry.
he's 8-2.
Oh yeah, sorry, I missed him on my blind. We could still put a Cam Young in and like a Tom Kim or something like that, or something around there. It just shows what we do. This shows what we're doing around this range.
Stick Cam Young in, Tom Kim, and then that
maybe
leaves you with
7
7. I mean, that still leaves you with a nice bit of money. Like
I know, and then you can still get your.
If you went really low here with the 7s, you get back into the 8s again. So you could go to.
You could have Wyndham Clark and a Siwu, or a Wyndham Clark and a Taylor Moore here and stuff. Or
yeah, you could do that, or you could again just go back down to the bottom of the 7s. You could play a Sam Ryder or a Poston or a Benny Ann, and then you're back up to 8-4.
I know, so it just feels quite. This is why it's so spread out, the ownership.
Yeah.
Because there's so many options around here. So yeah.
No, I like it.
Yeah. So I think get rid of that. There you go. So lots of options for this week. Should make it interesting. I don't think there's any ownership plays ready to make this week the same way as there were last time. Because I think it's almost impossible not to be different somehow.
Yeah.
The way the ownership's going to be spread out in the sort of 8s and the 7s.
Yeah, I do. I like all of these weeks. I think the ownership at the top will sort of condense itself, and those guys will come in pretty similar by the end of it.
It's also very rare that the most expensive is the highest owned.
Oh yeah, unless it's John Moss.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, last week was a bit of a daft, situation.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so that's it. So next week it will be Jack and Nick for the Byron Nelson.
Yeah.
But if Jack dares to turn up, maybe just leave Nick on his own.
You will, maybe, yeah.
To do a solo show.
I hate that tournament. I remember getting really annoyed by it last year. It was like 30 under. I just really remember getting annoyed by it.
But great for fan team season long. You want good plays for that. All those points you're going to make over this week. Okay. Anything you want to say before we sign off?
Newsletter will be out tomorrow. Everything, all the good stuff, the tee times, the weather, the course preview, Mark's cup makers, bets, you name it, it's all in there. We got you covered. And that's it, really. Yeah, let's have a good week. Let's take down the midi this week. Why not? Let's go for
it. Loving the confidence. Well, hopefully everybody's green this week, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Cheers.